Remember your first online friend? No, not your actual friend, your first online friend. The one who was always there, smiling, in a perfectly angled selfie, waiting for you in your top 8. His name was Tom, and for a glorious moment in time, Tom was the most popular person on the planet. He was the co-founder of MySpace, a digital kingdom of 100 million people. So, what happened? Well, let's just say another college kid built a similar website in his dorm room. And his last name wasn't Anderson. This is the story of how to lose a billion users. To understand this digital war, you have to go back to 2003. The internet was a wild west. And a site called Friendster was the biggest saloon in town. But it was slow, buggy, and had rules. So a scrappy marketing company in LA had an idea. Let's copy it, but make it fun. They weren't trying to change the world. They were trying to sell diet pills and remote-controlled helicopters. MySpace was born not from a grand vision, but from a desire to have a massive audience for their ads. Their genius move? They went to Friendster and recruited all the cool kids who got kicked off for being too damn sexy, like Tella Tequila. They brought in bands, photographers, and artists. Suddenly, MySpace wasn't just a website. It was the coolest party on the planet, and everyone was invited. And the world noticed. In 2005, media titan Rupert Murdoch and his news corporation bought MySpace for a staggering $580 million. To the outside world, it was a declaration. The future of media had arrived. News Corp promised to let MySpace be MySpace. We're not going to disrupt anything, they said. You're special. But as former VP of Marketing Sean Percival recalls, that promise didn't last long. The corporate policies crept in. The lawyers came in. The accountants came in. The once nimble sports car started to become a slow, lumbering cargo ship. The legal team ballooned to 50 people, with an $800,000 monthly bill for external lawyers, fighting off lawsuits over pedophiles and other weird stuff happening on the platform. The party was getting out of control, and the corporate parents were starting to panic. Meanwhile, in a Harvard dorm room, a different kind of revolution was starting. Mark Zuckerberg wasn't trying to build a global party. He was building a directory for his college. It was exclusive, it was clean, it required your real name. It was, in every way, the anti-Myspace. While MySpace was a chaotic, customizable, anonymous free-for-all, Facebook was a uniform, sterile, identity-based network. And here, just the crucial difference in philosophy. MySpace was managed by executives with PowerPoints and revenue projections. They had a plan. Facebook was managed by engineers who listened to the market. They had a process. As Adam Harding wrote in Forbes, MySpace's professional managers tried to predict the future. Zuckerberg let the users create it. The first clash of these philosophies came down to one word: monetization. News Corp was obsessed with it. Rupert Murdoch publicly declared that MySpace would make $1 billion in revenue at a time when it was making maybe a tenth of that. The directive sent a shockwave through the company. Suddenly, the user experience didn't matter, only revenue did. This led to the infamous Punch the Monkey ad, a spammy, intrusive banner that promised prizes but delivered malware and credit card signups. It was the ultimate sign of disrespect to the user. Facebook, in contrast, had almost no ads. Their focus was singular: growth. They understood that the user's trust was the most valuable asset, not the ad space on their page. The second fatal flaw was technical. Internally, employees called the site a massive spaghetti ball mess. The code was a tangled nightmare, making any change or new feature a monumental task. They spent hundreds of millions of dollars building their own data centers, while a new company called Amazon Web Services was offering a cheaper, more scalable solution in the cloud. Facebook, built on a cleaner, more modern architecture, was nimble. They could innovate, test, and deploy new features at lightning speed. The most famous example? The newsfeed. When Facebook launched it in 2006, users revolted. They hated it. But Zuckerberg stuck with it, understanding it would increase engagement. MySpace, bogged down in its spaghetti code and corporate bureaucracy, couldn't even dream of deploying such a radical feature. By 2009, the writing was on the wall. Sean Percival describes his first meeting at MySpace as the saddest, most awkward meeting of his life. The team was defeated. They knew they were losing. They could smell it. The company was bloated, with failed verticals for books, fashion, and sports. As Percival put it, literature nerds were not going to MySpace to debate the latest John Grisham book. They were doing one thing great: music, but instead of doubling down, they were doing many things poorly. Facebook did the opposite. They did one thing great: connecting real-life friends. And they relentlessly improved that one thing. The final battle was for the soul of social networking: identity. On MySpace, you were 420 princesses. It was a pseudonym, a performance. On Facebook, you were you. Your real name, your real school, your real friends. This seemingly small difference had massive implications. It created a trusted network. It made interactions more meaningful, and it was infinitely more valuable to advertisers. MySpace had lost the social war because it never truly understood what it meant to be social. It was a platform for entertainment and self-expression, not genuine connection. They had a unique, exclusive deal with major music labels, something no one else had. They could have become Spotify before Spotify existed. They even tried to buy Spotify, but by then, it was too late. Spotify didn't need them. The exodus was brutal. In 2010 alone, 50% of MySpace's users left. The site that once had 100 million active users now has around 15 million monthly visitors, mostly for its music archive. Facebook, on the other hand, has over 3 billion users. The $580 million acquisition by News Corp was eventually sold in 2011 for a paltry $35 million. A loss of over $500 million. It stands as one of the most spectacular failures in the history of the internet. So, what's the lesson from the MySpace graveyard? It's a story told time and time again in the tech world. It's not always the first mover that wins. It's the one that listens. The one that adapts. The one that respects its users above all else. MySpace was a company run by marketers and media executives who saw users as a commodity to be monetized. Facebook was a company run by engineers who saw users as a community to be served. One focused on short-term profits, the other on long-term value. One built a plan and stuck to it, even as the world changed around them. The other had no plan, only a direction, forward, guided by the users themselves. In the end, we all unfriended Tom. Not because we didn't like him, but because a better party started down the street, and everyone we knew was already there. Who was your first friend on MySpace? And when did you know it was over? Let us know in the comments. And if you want to see more stories about the rise and fall of tech giants, hit that subscribe button.